Hello, here we're back again today. My name is Natalie, this is Lainey in case you haven't been watching. So today's topic is, should I do my yoga teacher training even if I don't know if and when I will start teaching yoga? So if you don't know if you're going to be a yoga teacher, I definitely recommend that you do your yoga teacher training now. It seems to be the only program that is going to allow you to go deeper into your yoga practice on all areas, not only with asanas, but anatomy, philosophy, sequencing. There's some things in there, if you don't want to be a yoga teacher, you're thinking, well, I probably don't need to learn that and I'd rather spend my time doing something else. Believe me, you may want to become a yoga teacher once you've finished your yoga teacher training program. So keep listening. If you do want to be a yoga teacher and you don't know when you're going to start your yoga teaching, I reckon the sooner you do your yoga teacher training program, the better, because once you do want to become a yoga teacher, actually it's the hours, the practice teaching hours that you have that will count. So for example, just think of your yoga teacher training program as your 1% theory, and remember yoga is 99% practice, and that includes teaching as well. The only way you're going to become a great teacher is through practicing, and you'll always need that first class, and that first teaching class is going to count towards your practice teaching hours. So for example, when you've finished your yoga teacher training program, if you do want to become a yoga teacher, you will most likely need to register with a yoga teaching association. For example, maybe it's Yoga Alliance, which seems to be the most common one, but each country may have their own government regulations. For example, I know the UK one has an additional registration board that you need to apply for. The US is different, Australia is different, but Yoga Alliance seems to be the common one. So once you have done
Yoga Alliance is international recognized.
It's the international one, but some countries you may need to do an additional one or a different one in addition to Yoga Alliance. So once you finish your yoga teacher training program, you will need to register with Yoga Alliance, and then what's important is how many hours of teaching that you have done, because this will go towards your different grades of being a yoga teacher. So even if you don't know when you want to start teaching, and it may be immediately after your yoga teacher training course because you plan to go traveling and you want to combine teaching yoga with your travels, or if it's in 2 or 3 years time, if it's more of a long-term dream, I reckon the sooner you do your yoga teacher training, the better, because then your teaching hours, and even if that's just with friends and family in the beginning while you're getting your confidence up and while you're finding your style, it all gets counted towards your total of teaching hours.
So a good yoga teacher training school will not only give you the tools that you need to be able to teach yoga classes through teaching and sequencing workshops, posture clinics and practice teaching classes, but they'll also schedule in time on a daily basis for practice teaching from the very beginning of the course. So you just straight in, you just jump in both feet and you don't have time to think about it, and then you've got, you start from day one almost, and then you've got that month. So day by day it gets easier and you learn more, and you get that confidence.
Yeah, I really loved, just recently a yoga teacher said that confidence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the bigger it's going to get and the stronger it's going to become, which is why I think it's great just to start in on the first week, just doing snippets of teaching, just to find your voice, just for 5 minutes amongst your co-students.
Yeah, absolutely. I know when I was doing my training, I personally found the self-study time. So our school had some hours that were just still self-study. So some people were focusing more on the philosophy, that was their jam. I really wanted to be a yoga teacher, so I spent my time getting people gathered around. I'm like, right, I want to practice this sequence on you, and so just talking, working out my cues, what postures went well together. So that time for me during my course was really important and really beneficial. So something to check in on the syllabus when you're researching your schools.
Yeah, I was just speaking to a guy today. It was funny. He just he came for a private yoga session. He's just graduated from his 200-hour yoga teacher training program, and I was asking him why he did it. He said, "I don't even know. I don't even know why I did it. I just knew I had to do it. I just hit a wall. I was burnt out from just all the yoga classes that have been offered at home. Nothing was making any sense. So he wanted to go and do his 200-hour yoga teacher training just to get a deeper understanding of the meaning behind yoga. What is hatha? What does it mean? And he's like, I don't even know. I still don't know if I want to be a yoga teacher, but I want to join your postgraduate program because in case I do want to become a yoga teacher, I'll have it. So it was just funny speaking to him today because he still doesn't know what he wants to do, but he knows he wants to get as much information and practice as possible.
Yeah.
So that if that changes over time, then he's equipped to teach.
Yeah, and we were discussing it earlier this morning. So the 200 hours is really, it's just that foundation. So, you know, it teaches you what you need to know, but then it's what you do after the teacher training that's really going to make the difference. So, you know, during the teacher training, you will get the tools and the understanding of how to put a class together, how to teach, what you should say, all of that sort of stuff. But that's just the beginning. So, you know, and that comes up all the time. So you get to the end of the course, now it starts.
Yeah, and normally you need time for all of the information to absorb because it is so much information and there's so many things that you can be interested in. And yeah, it just takes time to absorb everything and figure out what area of yoga that fascinates you the most. Is it the anatomy? Is it the philosophy? Is it the meditation? Is it the asanas? So once people start going deeper into the yoga practice, they learn so much more about it and then they find their niche within the yoga teacher training. So it's like an overview of yoga and you can find which area resonates with you the most, and often it's not what you think it's going to be. It's normally a surprise. Yeah,
absolutely. So the main things to consider if you think you want to teach yoga, maybe not right now but in the future, or you're just on the fence about it, still these things are really important to consider. Is the school registered with Yoga Alliance? Is a big one, because then you'll be a certified yoga teacher at the end of the course. So really important to check that, because a lot of places, I know in Australia, a lot of yoga schools in Australia will only employ yoga teachers if you're registered with a yoga teacher association. So if you're not, and you don't have that certification, then you know you may have trouble getting work. So really important to check on that. I think another one is the amount of students in the course. So obviously the more students there are, the less time you're going to have with your teachers. So just something to be wary of. Do they do, you know, how much time do they allocate for practice teaching, teaching and sequencing, which is going to include things like how to sequence a class from beginning to end, how to cue. We do how to put safe sequences together, you know, so it's all, you know, you might have this really, you know, great sequence and then your teacher goes, well, actually that's, you know, probably not the safest thing to do. So, you know, you get that structure and how to modify postures and variations. So, you know, how much time is allocated to that during your training is important to know.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool.
Lots to think about.
So in our video tomorrow, we're going to be talking about what kind of ongoing support and community there'll be once the training has finished. So like we've touched on that topic today, you know, the end of the course is just the beginning of your yoga teacher journey. So what support is there at the end of the course to help you
transition from your yoga teacher training to becoming a yoga teacher, or finding your niche, what you're interested in, what are the next steps for you. I know a lot of people just come out of their yoga teacher training like a rabbit in the headlights and they're like, well, what next?
Yeah.
I've been in a bubble for a month, it's been beautiful, but now what? What's the transition? So yeah.
So thank you for watching today, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
All right. Bye.